It was a cold November night in Boston. The elegant lights of the Hamilton Grill sparkled against the spotless windows, blending the glow of candlelight with the frenetic pulse of the city outside. Inside, packed tables brought together politicians, business leaders, and celebrities, all drawn in by the restaurant's signature dishes and refined service. In the most discreet corner of the dining room, 52-year-old William Scott, a renowned businessman, was dining alone. His flawless Italian suit, perfectly groomed grey hair, everything about him radiated power, yet also a loneliness he could barely hide. On his left hand, a white gold ring set with a blue sapphire, a family heirloom, gleamed softly, a silent symbol of everything he had lost. Across the room, 23-year-old Hailey Carter balanced trays with the ease of someone who'd spent her whole life serving others. Her brown eyes were sharp and attentive, and her crisp white uniform looked simple yet spotless. When she caught sight of the sparkling ring on this powerful man's finger, her heart skipped a beat. A memory hit her like a punch to the chest. Mum had a ring just like that. Her hands shook, nearly spilling the wine glasses. Hailey took a deep breath, steadied herself, and walked toward the millionaire. "Excuse me, sir. May I ask you something?" William looked up, surprised by the interruption. "Of course," he replied, controlled, though clearly not eager to chat. "It's just, my mum had a ring exactly like yours," Hailey said, her voice trembling but determined. For a moment, William's entire world froze. The air seemed to grow heavy, and the soft piano music in the background all but disappeared. His stomach twisted, as if struck by a truth too devastating to accept. How could that be possible? He knew there were only 3 rings like that in the world. One was locked away in his late brother's safe, another was buried with the woman he had loved more than anyone, and the third was on his finger right now. William fixed his gaze on the young woman standing before him, and a terrible suspicion crept into his heart. Could it be? The air inside the Hamilton Grill was rich with the scent of fresh flowers, mingling with the aroma of refined dishes. The soft clink of silverware, hushed conversations, and gentle piano notes created a scene of perfection. But none of that existed for Hailey in that moment. She tried to steady her breathing as she looked at the man before her. William Scott, the kind of customer everyone was afraid to bother. He had a reputation for being impatient and strict, someone who could end a staff member's career with a single word. Still, Hailey didn't back down. "You said your mother had a ring just like this?" William asked, trying to keep his tone calm, even as his throat went dry. Hailey nodded, gripping her trembling tray with all her strength. "Yes, sir. Since I was a kid, I remember her saying that ring was the most precious thing she ever owned. But it disappeared years ago." William frowned. His fingers brushed the cool metal of the ring, as if to reassure himself it was still there. "This ring," he cleared his throat, feeling his heart race, "has been in my family for generations. It's a one-of-a-kind piece, custom-made in 1890. There are no copies." Hailey bit her lower lip, confused. "Then, how could it be the same one? My mom used to call it the ring of eternal love." William's eyes went wide. Eternal love. That was exactly what was engraved inside the band, in delicate lettering. His hand began to tremble, so subtly most wouldn't notice, but Hailey did. "May I ask, what's your mother's name?" William ventured, voice cracking. "Laura Carter," Hailey replied, puzzled by his sudden interest. "Why? Do you know her?" William's heart nearly stopped. The blood drained from his face. It took him a moment to recover before he could speak, in a hoarse whisper. "Laura Carter." Hailey nodded again. "Yes, she's 47 now, lives in Worcester. But why?" William leaned back in his chair to keep from fainting. The name echoed through him like a ghost, squeezing every bit of air from his chest. Laura, the great love of his youth, the woman he believed had died in an accident nearly 24 years ago. His hands began to sweat, his body shaking, as he stared at Hailey like he was seeing a miracle. "Could you show me a photo of her?" he asked, almost begging. Still wary, Hailey pulled her phone from her apron pocket and searched through her gallery. When she turned the screen toward him, William felt a surge of pain and hope explode inside his chest. It was her, Laura. Older now, with a few lines on her face, but the same green eyes, the same smile that had haunted his dreams. The memories crashed over him like a tidal wave, the accident, the grief, the funeral. Or had it all been a lie? William took a deep breath, fighting back tears. "Hailey," he said softly, voice tight, "I need you to take me to your mother." Hailey's eyes widened, startled. "Sir, what's going on? Why are you so nervous?" He gripped the ring so tightly his knuckles turned white. "Because," he took a shaky breath, "your mother was the love of my life." The silence between them stretched on forever. Hailey felt her body go cold, struggling to process what she'd just heard. "You knew my mother?" William only nodded, broken and emotional. "I didn't just know her. I lost her, and I need to know why." Hailey stepped back, confusion flooding her mind. "But, sir, my mom never told me anything about this." William stood up, not caring about the shocked faces turning toward him in the restaurant. "Please," he pleaded, "help me find her. I need to understand what happened." Hailey hesitated. Her instinct as a daughter screamed at her to run, but something in the desperate look in this man's eyes told her there was a much bigger story behind all of this. "Could it be that my mom has been hiding a huge secret all these years?" she wondered, a chill running down her spine. Hailey agreed to take William to her mother, without realizing that this decision would change all three of their lives forever, and uncover secrets buried for more than 20 years. Have you ever felt like your family was hiding a huge secret? Drop a comment and subscribe to catch the next chapters. Night was falling in Boston, and the icy wind sent dry leaves swirling across the sidewalks. Hailey stepped out of the restaurant with her heart pounding, her hands still shaking from that unbelievable conversation. William was waiting by his sleek black car, watching her with the desperate eyes of a man hanging on to his last hope. Hailey zipped up her coat and took a deep breath. She'd never imagined her shift would end like this. "Mr. Scott, I still don't understand what you want from me," she said, trying to keep her voice steady. William drew in a heavy breath, his voice thick with pain. "I want answers, Hailey. If your mother is really who I think she is, then she didn't die the way everyone believed. I need to look her in the eyes and understand why." Hailey felt torn. Part of her wanted to run from this intense stranger, but another part recognized that same emptiness in his eyes, the one she'd seen in her mother so many times. "I can't promise anything," she murmured, trying to stay firm. "But I can take you to Worcester tomorrow after my shift." William pressed his lips together, relief and anxiety flashing across his face. "Thank you," he said, voice breaking. "Truly, thank you." That night, Hailey was so wound up she could barely sleep. William's words played in her mind like a broken record. Love of my life, lost, lies. It all felt surreal. In the small apartment she shared with her mother, every detail reminded her of Laura. The scent of chamomile tea, the old photos on the shelf, a picture frame with Laura smiling in her youth. Could she really have hidden something this huge? The next day, Hailey tried to act normal, but her mom noticed right away that something was off. "Hailey, you've been acting strange since yesterday." Did something happen at work? Laura asked as she put away the dishes. Hailey hesitated, heart pounding. Mom, something really weird happened last night. I served a man, William Scott. Laura dropped a plate, shattering it on the floor. Her eyes went wide, her face turning paper white. William what? She stammered, trying to catch her breath. Hailey was startled by her mother's reaction. You know him? She asked, suspicion creeping in. Laura put a hand on her chest, her lips trembling. Hailey, don't get involved in this, please. What do you mean, don't get involved? Hailey felt anger bubbling up. He said that you two... No! Laura screamed, cutting her off in a panic. You don't understand, it's dangerous. Hailey stepped back, shocked by the raw fear on her mother's face. Dangerous? Why? What did he do to you? Laura sank into a chair as if her legs could no longer carry the weight of her past. Hailey, I swore I would never speak of him again. I had to protect you. Hailey sat down too, her heart pounding like a drum. Protect me? From what, Mom? From my own father. The words came out before she could stop them, and the silence that followed was suffocating. Laura froze, tears streaming down her face. I never wanted you to find out this way, she whispered, voice cracking. I never wanted... Hailey felt the world tilt around her. So it's true. He's my father? Laura could only nod, defeated. It's true. Hailey had to grip the table to keep herself from collapsing. A hurricane of memories tore through her mind. The missing father, the unanswered questions, the lies explained away as work accidents, stories that never quite added up. Why, Mom? Hailey sobbed. Why did you lie to me my whole life? Laura wiped her tears, but couldn't meet her daughter's eyes. Because there were dangerous people, Hailey. People who threatened us. I couldn't take that risk. Hailey stood up in pure anguish. I need some time, she said, walking out of the apartment. Outside, the cold wind slapped her face, but it couldn't cool the firestorm raging in her heart. Who was her mother, really? And who was William? Deep down, Hailey knew there was only one way to make sense of everything, face the truth head-on. The next day, Hailey decided she would take William to see Laura, ready to uncover every secret her mother had tried so hard to bury, no matter what it cost. Night was falling in Boston, and the icy wind sent dry leaves swirling across the sidewalks. Hailey stepped out of the restaurant with her heart pounding, her hands still shaking from that unbelievable conversation. William was waiting by his sleek black car, watching her with the desperate eyes of a man hanging on to his last hope. Hailey zipped up her coat and took a deep breath. She'd never imagined her shift would end like this. Mr. Scott, I still don't understand what you want from me, she said, trying to keep her voice steady. William drew in a heavy breath, his voice thick with pain. I want answers, Hailey. If your mother is really who I think she is, then she didn't die the way everyone believed. I need to look her in the eyes and understand why. Hailey felt torn. Part of her wanted to run from this intense stranger, but another part recognized that same emptiness in his eyes, the one she'd seen in her mother so many times. I can't promise anything, she murmured, trying to stay firm. But I can take you to Worcester tomorrow after my shift. William pressed his lips together, relief and anxiety flashing across his face. Thank you, he said, voice breaking. Truly, thank you. That night, Hailey was so wound up she could barely sleep. William's words played in her mind like a broken record. Love of my life, lost, lies. It all felt surreal. In the small apartment she shared with her mother, every detail reminded her of Laura. The scent of chamomile tea, the old photos on the shelf, a picture frame with Laura smiling in her youth. Could she really have hidden something this huge? The next day, Hailey tried to act normal, but her mom noticed right away that something was off. Hailey, you've been acting strange since yesterday. Did something happen at work? Laura asked as she put away the dishes. Hailey hesitated, heart pounding. Mom, something really weird happened last night. I served a man, William Scott. Laura dropped a plate, shattering it on the floor. Her eyes went wide, her face turning paper white. William what? She stammered, trying to catch her breath. Hailey was startled by her mother's reaction. You know him? She asked, suspicion creeping in. Laura put a hand on her chest, her lips trembling. Hailey, don't get involved in this, please. What do you mean, don't get involved? Hailey felt anger bubbling up. He said that you two... No! Laura screamed, cutting her off in a panic. You don't understand, it's dangerous. Hailey stepped back, shocked by the raw fear on her mother's face. Dangerous? Why? What did he do to you? Laura sank into a chair as if her legs could no longer carry the weight of her past. Hailey, I swore I would never speak of him again. I had to protect you. Hailey sat down too, her heart pounding like a drum. Protect me? From what, Mom? From my own father. The words came out before she could stop them, and the silence that followed was suffocating. Laura froze, tears streaming down her face. I never wanted you to find out this way, she whispered, voice cracking. I never wanted... Hailey felt the world tilt around her. So it's true. He's my father? Laura could only nod, defeated. It's true. Hailey had to grip the table to keep herself from collapsing. A hurricane of memories tore through her mind. The missing father, the unanswered questions, the lies explained away as work accidents, stories that never quite added up. Why, Mom? Hailey sobbed. Why did you lie to me my whole life? Laura wiped her tears, but couldn't meet her daughter's eyes. Because there were dangerous people, Hailey. People who threatened us. I couldn't take that risk. Hailey stood up in pure anguish. I need some time, she said, walking out of the apartment. Outside, the cold wind slapped her face, but it couldn't cool the firestorm raging in her heart. Who was her mother, really? And who was William? Deep down, Hailey knew there was only one way to make sense of everything, face the truth head-on. The next day, Hailey decided she would take William to see Laura, ready to uncover every secret her mother had tried so hard to bury, no matter what it cost. Laura's small apartment was silent, broken only by the sound of the wind rattling the window. Hailey sat at the table, fingers intertwined, trying to stay strong. William stood beside her, eyes locked on Laura, as if every second of waiting was pure torture. Laura took a deep breath, wiping away the tears that wouldn't stop falling. She knew there was no running anymore. I don't even know where to start, she said, her voice cracking. William leaned forward, tense. Start from the beginning, he urged, calm but with his heart pounding, from the day you disappeared. Laura closed her eyes, searching for strength. I was pregnant with you, Hailey, she said, looking at her daughter with tenderness. But I didn't know how to tell William. Back then, he was involved in very dangerous business, things I didn't understand, but that terrified me. Hailey's eyes widened. Dangerous business? What do you mean? Laura sighed, her gaze distant. He got mixed up with powerful people, investors without a shred of conscience. When I found out, I tried to convince him to get out, but it was too late. They started threatening us. William lowered his head, ashamed. It's true. I made terrible choices, Laura, but all I wanted was to secure our future. Laura took another breath, wiping away more tears. I was scared they would hurt me, but mostly scared for you, Hailey. So I accepted their deal. I would disappear, and they'd leave me alone. Hailey felt her heart go cold. You faked your death? To protect me? Laura nodded, defeated. I had no other choice, sweetheart. I had to save you. William ran a hand through his hair, pain in his eyes. Laura, do you know what it did to me, thinking I lost you? I buried you. I mourned you. Laura shuddered, remembering that staged funeral. I know, and it eats me alive every single day. But it was the only way to keep you alive, too. If you had tried to find me, we all would have been in danger." Hailey took a shaky breath, trying to process the avalanche of emotions. "And after that?" she asked. "What happened to those men?" Laura pressed her lips together. "They disappeared. Some died in their own power struggles, others were arrested. When I finally felt safe, it was too late to come back. I saw in the papers that William had moved on with his life, and I didn't want to just show up out of nowhere." William shook his head, bitter. "I never moved on, Laura. I just survived, that's all." A heavy silence fell over the three of them until Hailey spoke up, voice firm but shaking. "You really think you can tell me all of this now and expect me to pretend everything's fine?" Laura reached for her daughter's hand, emotional. "I don't expect anything from you, Hailey. I just need you to know the truth." William stepped closer too, gently resting a hand on her shoulder. "I'm not going anywhere," he promised. "Not now that I know you exist." Hailey felt her tears spill over, powerless to stop them. "I don't know if I can forgive you," she whispered, "but I want to try to understand." Laura sobbed even harder at those words. "That means everything to me," she said, clutching her daughter's hand tightly. William took a deep, relieved breath. "Hailey, please let me be a part of your life. I've already lost too much time." Hailey looked straight into the eyes of this man who in a way had always been a shadow in her story. "I need time," she said, "but I won't run away." Laura managed a fragile, hopeful smile. "That's all I ask." Deep down, Hailey knew nothing would ever be the same again. But for the first time, she felt like the emptiness inside her might finally have a chance to heal. Hailey agrees to get to know William better, but sets her own conditions. This reunion will demand far more courage and trust than any of them ever imagined. The air in Laura's apartment felt heavy, thick with old memories and half-healed wounds. Hailey took a deep breath, studying her mother's face, exhausted, fragile, and William's eyes, full of guilt and hope. The words burned in her throat, but she couldn't hold them back. "If you really want for me to accept all of this," she began, looking at both of them, "it's going to have to be on my terms." Laura lifted her gaze, surprised. "What do you mean?" Hailey took another breath, fighting back tears. "First, no more lies, ever, not even half-truths, not even silence. I've already lost too many years feeling deceived." William nodded solemnly. "I promise, Hailey. You'll have the whole truth, always." "Second," Hailey went on, locking eyes with her mother, "I want to know who I really am. Everything about you, about the past, about what happened. No more incomplete stories." Laura nodded, wiping her eyes. "You deserve to know it all." Hailey drew in another deep breath. "Third," her voice faltered for a moment, but she pushed through, "I'm not going to call anyone dad or husband tomorrow. I need time to figure out who you really are in my life." William felt a stab in his heart, but respected her. "Of course," he said, voice unsteady. "I'll wait as long as you need." Hailey looked at both of them, feeling the weight of 23 years settle on her shoulders. "If you can accept those conditions, then maybe we can try." Laura stood up slowly, moving closer to her daughter. "I accept, sweetheart," she said, her voice thick with pain and relief. "I accept it all, if it means I won't lose you again." William also stepped forward, drawing closer. "Hailey, I know I made mistakes, even without knowing you existed, but I'm going to fight to earn your forgiveness." Hailey took a deep breath, trying to take in those promises. For the first time, she felt a flicker of hope. "So, we start from scratch," she murmured, looking at them. Laura nodded, emotional. "From scratch?" William held out his hand, like offering a pact. From scratch, he echoed firmly. Hailey hesitated for a second, then took his hand, feeling the warmth of a connection she'd always missed. Maybe, just maybe, they could rebuild something from the wreckage. That night, each of them went back to their own rooms, carrying a storm of thoughts. Hailey stared at the ceiling, replaying everything that had changed in such a short time. The father she thought never existed, the mother who had hidden so many secrets, a lifetime of certainties now shattered. Could she ever learn to love this man as a father? Could she truly forgive her mother? With all those unanswered questions swirling in her mind, she finally fell asleep with a heavy heart, yet somehow lighter than it had been in years. The next day, William decides to invite Hailey to see his world, but he has no idea it will bring new challenges and even deeper wounds. The next morning, Hailey woke up with a heavy head, as if she'd been trapped in a nightmare she couldn't shake. But when she opened her eyes and saw the soft light streaming through the window, she remembered this wasn't a dream. Her father was real, alive, sitting in the next room, and her mother wasn't exactly who she'd always claimed to be. William was sipping coffee, tense, checking his watch every minute. When Hailey walked in, still in her pajamas, he gave her a careful, almost rehearsed smile. "Good morning, Hailey. Did you sleep well?" She took a deep breath, unable to smile back. "Not really, to be honest," she replied. William nodded, understanding. "I figured. I didn't sleep at all," he admitted. "Hailey, I wanted to, if you're willing, show you my life, my world." Hailey frowned. "Your world?" "Yes," William said, gathering his courage. "I want you to see who I really am, beyond what you've heard. Please give me that chance." Hailey hesitated. Part of her wanted to run, but another part felt she needed to understand the man who, in the end, was part of who she was. "Okay," she said quietly, "but no secrets." William let out a relieved breath. "No secrets," he promised. A few hours later, they were in William's luxurious car, driving through Boston's busiest avenues toward the city's most exclusive neighborhood. Hailey looked at the grand facades of the buildings, feeling completely out of place. When they arrived at a mirrored skyscraper with white-gloved doormen, Hailey's stomach turned. "You live here?" she asked, amazed. William nodded, proud, but still uneasy. "This apartment was mine and your mother's, before everything happened. I could never bring myself to sell it." In the elevator, Hailey's heart pounded so hard it felt like it might burst. When the doors opened, she stepped into a breathtakingly luxurious space, with elegant furniture, expensive artwork, and a stunning view of the Charles River. She walked over to the window, speechless. "All of this was my mom's too?" William stepped closer, careful. "Yes, every detail. She helped choose it all." Hailey took a deep breath, running her fingers across the cold marble countertop, as if trying to find traces of her mother there. "It's so different from anything I've ever known," she murmured. William moved even closer, eyes glistening. "I want you to know that all of this was always meant for both of you, for our family." Hailey felt tears prick at her eyes, but refused to let them fall. "It's a lot, William. It's too much," she admitted. He approached her again, respectful. "I know, but I want you to understand that you belong here if you want to." Hailey took a moment to take it in. "I don't know if I belong to any of this," she confessed, "but I want to try to find out." William smiled, fragile, but sincere. That already means a lot. Later, William showed Hailey his office, with framed old photos, documents, awards, a life that looked straight out of a movie, but with deep scars hidden behind the shine. Hailey paused in front of a black-and-white photo of William, hugging Laura, both of them young and smiling, like nothing could ever break them. "You looked happy," she said, touching the frame. William drew a shaky breath, voice tight. "We were, until fear took over everything." Hailey looked at her father again, seeing not just the wealthy, powerful man, but someone who had lost so much too. "I don't know if I can call you Dad yet," she admitted honestly. William nodded, accepting. "You don't have to," he said, "but let me try to be." Hailey finally smiled, even if it was hesitant. "I'll try." William invites Hailey to spend a few days at his penthouse, hoping to rebuild their bond, but Laura worries that old enemies might still be lurking in their lives. That night, Hailey decided to sleep at William's penthouse. The massive apartment felt even bigger in the silence, every corner telling a story she didn't know. As she wandered through the rooms, a chill ran down her spine, making her feel like an intruder in a life that wasn't hers. William watched her from a distance, respecting every hesitant step and gesture. He wanted to hold her, but feared breaking what little fragile trust he had earned. "Hailey," he called out gently, "if you feel uncomfortable, I can take you home." Hailey took a deep breath, looking out at the sparkling Boston skyline from the balcony. I want to try to stay," she said bravely. "I need to understand who I am, William." He smiled, moved. "I'll give you as much time as you need." The next morning, Laura showed up at the penthouse carrying a bag of Hailey's things and a worried look in her eyes. The moment she stepped into the hallway, her heart pounded. It felt like stepping back in time. William greeted her carefully, respecting the distance she still kept. "Thank you for coming," he said sincerely. Laura watched Hailey moving around, trying to adjust, and felt a pang in her chest. "I don't want her to get lost in this world, William," she warned, concerned. "She was raised simply." William nodded, understanding. "I don't want to change her, Laura. I just want her to know the truth." Laura took a shaky breath but didn't relax. "What if someone is still watching us?" William frowned. "You think there's still danger?" "I don't know," Laura admitted, glancing around nervously. "But the kind of people who threatened us back then, they don't always forget." William swallowed hard. "I have private security watching over you both 24/7. I won't let anything happen." Laura shook her head, unconvinced. "I hope you're right," she murmured. That night, while William worked in his office, Hailey found an old folder on a bookshelf. Curiosity got the best of her, and she opened it. Inside were old photos, newspaper clippings, contracts, and buried among them, a dossier full of strange names. She flipped through it slowly, feeling her throat go dry. Raúl Vasquez, cartel, money laundering. She read under her breath, terrified. William walked in at that very moment, noticing the horror on her face. "Hailey, what are you doing?" She looked at him, hands shaking. "What is this, William? You were involved with criminals?" He took a deep breath, stepping closer. "Hailey, please listen to me," he pleaded, voice heavy. "This is part of a past I fought so hard to bury." Hailey took a step back, hurt. "You said there would be no more secrets." William reached out, desperate. "I didn't want to scare you. I was going to tell you, I swear, just not like this." Hailey felt the ground disappear under her feet. "You put us in danger, William. Is that why my mother had to disappear?" He nodded, defeated. "Yes, but I swore to myself I'd never let it touch you again." Hailey shook her head, outraged. "And now? Are you sure we're safe?" William hesitated, and that single second of silence cut deeper than any knife. "I can't be absolutely sure," he admitted. A tear slipped down Hailey's cheek. "I don't know if I can stay here, William," she murmured, voice breaking. "Not after this." William moved closer, begging. "Give me a chance to protect you. I would do anything." Hailey took a deep breath, torn between revulsion and compassion. "You'll have to prove it," she said firmly, "because I refuse to live in fear." He nodded, emotional. "I will prove it, I promise." While William swears to protect his daughter, Laura receives an anonymous phone call threatening to expose even deeper secrets, and the terror of their past seems ready to rise again. Rain pounded relentlessly against the penthouse windows as Hailey tried to process everything she'd learned the day before. The dossier with strange names, William's criminal past, her mother's escape. It felt like every part of her life had been built on lies. In the guest room, Laura was folding some clothes she had brought from Worcester, trying to appear calm, but inside she was shattered. Seeing William again had stirred up feelings she'd buried long ago, and now the old fear was back, stronger, suffocating. Suddenly her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Laura answered, her voice hesitant. "Hello?" A rough, rasping voice sliced through the air like a knife. "Thought you could disappear forever, Laura?" She felt her blood run cold. "Who is this?" "You know who I am, and you know exactly what will happen if you don't do what I say." Laura trembled, her heart hammering so hard it felt like it might burst. "Raoul, this can't be—" "Let's just say some ghosts don't rest, Laura," the voice continued, ruthless. "You're going to get me all of William's documents, every last one, or I swear your daughter will pay the price." Laura collapsed onto the bed, gasping for air, her throat tightening. "Please, don't hurt my daughter." "You have 48 hours, the man said before hanging up. Laura let the phone fall to the floor. The fear she'd carried for decades returned with crushing force. Tears spilled uncontrollably as she bit her lip to keep from screaming. In the living room, Hailey and William were talking, trying to figure out how to rebuild some sense of normalcy. "Hailey," William said calmly, "I want you to know I hired armed security to protect you." She took a deep breath, unsure if that made her feel safer or even more terrified. "I don't want to live surrounded by bodyguards, William. I want a normal life." "I know," he said, lowering his gaze, "but I have to make sure nothing happens to you." At that moment, Laura appeared in the doorway, pale, gripping her phone tightly. William immediately saw the panic on her face and rushed over. "Laura, what is it?" Laura tried to speak, but her voice cracked. I need to talk to you. Alone." William nodded, worried, and led her into his office. Hailey watched them disappear behind the door, feeling the tension slice through the air like a knife. In the office, Laura shut the door and broke down. "He called me, William. He's back." William felt his entire body go cold. "Who?" "Raoul," Laura whispered, tears falling. "He wants your documents. He said he'll hurt Hailey if I don't give them to him." Rage surged through William's veins. "I will end him. I won't let him lay a finger on our daughter." Laura shook her head, terrified. "He's dangerous, William. You know what he's capable of." William took a deep breath, fighting to stay calm. "I will protect you. I swear to God, Laura, I won't lose you again." Laura's legs gave out, and she leaned against the desk. "I can't go through this again. I can't." William gripped her shoulders, steady. "I won't let anything happen to you. But I need your trust." Laura looked at him, heart torn between hope and fear. "And if we can't stop him?" she asked in a whisper. William set his jaw, determined. "I give you my word, Laura, this time no one will tear us apart." Trembling with fear, Laura agrees to help William stand up to Raoul, but Hailey, still unaware of any of this, starts to sense that someone is watching her. Have you ever felt like your past might come back to haunt you? Share in the comments and follow along for the next chapters. Hailey could feel that something was wrong. The mood in the penthouse had completely shifted, and her mother wandered the hallways like a shadow, pale-faced and short of breath. William, too, seemed on edge, checking his phone every 5 minutes, barking orders at the security team and whispering behind closed doors in his office. Deep in her chest, Hailey felt that old fear creeping back, the sense that at any moment her entire world could collapse. That morning, when she went downstairs to grab a coffee, she noticed a man standing on the sidewalk, staring at her with a blank, cold expression. Her stomach flipped. He didn't look like just another pedestrian, and she was sure someone was watching her. She ran back up to the apartment breathless. "Mom, I need to talk to you," she said, locking the door behind her. Laura turned around, startled. "What happened?" "There's someone downstairs," Hailey murmured. "Someone who won't stop staring at me. Do you want to tell me what's going on?" Laura hesitated, trembling. "Hailey, I didn't want you to get dragged into this." "Dragged into what?" Hailey practically shouted, tears welling in her eyes. "Are you hiding something else from me?" Laura took a deep breath, feeling her heart shatter. "It's Raoul, Hailey. He's back." Hailey blinked, confused. "Raoul, who is this guy?" William walked into the room at that moment, sensing the tension. "Raoul was someone from my past," he said gravely. "A dangerous man. I thought he was gone, but—" Hailey's eyes widened, her breathing shallow. "And what does he want now?" Laura tried to take her daughter's hand. "He threatened us, Hailey. He said if I don't give him William's documents, he'll hurt you." Hailey felt the ground slip away beneath her. "So I'm in danger." Her voice cracked. William stepped closer, steady. "I won't let anyone lay a finger on you, Hailey, even if it's the last thing I do." But Hailey shook her head, panicking. "You should have told me before. I'm not a child, Mom." Laura broke down, desperate. "I didn't want to scare you, sweetheart. I only wanted to protect you." Hailey took a deep breath, wiping her tears with frustration. "I don't want to be protected like that anymore. I want the truth, always, even if it hurts." William nodded, placing a hand on her shoulder. "You're right. From now on, we face this together." And that night, the atmosphere was tense. William gathered his security team and set up a round-the-clock watch on Hailey and Laura. He refused to leave the house, terrified that the slightest mistake could be fatal. Meanwhile, Laura tried to steady her heart, but every time she closed her eyes, Raoul's image came back to haunt her. That man had destroyed her life once, and he could do it again. In her room, Hailey looked out the window, breathing heavily. How could they ever rebuild a family with so much fear around them? She didn't have an answer. Raoul soon makes direct contact with Hailey, demanding a meeting, and she will have to decide whether to face the danger or keep on running. The clock had just passed 9 p.m. when Hailey's phone buzzed. An unknown number, a chill shot down her spine, like fate giving her one last warning. "Hello," she answered, her voice shaking. On the other end, a cold, calculated voice sliced through her chest like a knife. "Hailey Carter, don't do anything stupid. I want you here alone. If you try any tricks, your mother will pay." Hailey felt the air vanish from her lungs. Who is this?" "Raoul," he said mercilessly. "You're going to bring me William's documents, now." She took a deep breath, trying to steady her panic. I don't have any of that." "Liar," Raoul growled. "You have access, or your mother won't live to see tomorrow." Hailey's heart pounded, her hands trembling. "Where?" she managed to ask, barely a whisper. "Warehouse 14 at the port," he ordered. "In 1 hour." Then the line went dead. Hailey let the phone slip from her hands, her legs nearly giving out. William and Laura found her in the hallway, frantic. "Hailey, what happened?" William asked, alarmed. She took a deep breath, her eyes fierce even as fear burned in her chest. "Raoul called me. He wants to meet at the port." Laura nearly collapsed to her knees. "No, honey, please don't go." Hailey held her mother's hands tightly. "I can't hide for the rest of my life, Mum. Enough." William shook his head, resolute. "I'm going with you." "No," Hailey said firmly. "He only wants me. If you show up, he might hurt Mom." William drew a sharp breath, rage pulsing through every muscle. "I'm not letting you walk into this hell alone." Hailey looked into his eyes, tears streaming down her face. "You taught me to be brave. Now I have to do this. But promise me you'll be close by if I need you." William, emotional, held her face in both hands. "I'll be just a few steps away, no matter what." Laura sobbed, unable to say anything through her fear. At the port, the icy wind cut like a knife. Hailey walked steadily toward the dark warehouse, her heart racing. As she stepped inside, she saw Raoul leaning against a stack of crates, smiling with cruel amusement. "Well, what a surprise," he sneered. "So young, so stupid." Hailey took a deep breath, trying not to shake. "What do you want from me?" Raoul laughed, cold and vicious. "I want to destroy William, take away everything he's built. You, your mother, his entire life." Hailey's stomach twisted, but she kept her gaze steady. "He's done letting you blackmail him." Raoul stepped closer, his eyes burning with hate. "Then you die here, as a reminder for him." Just then, William appeared at the warehouse door, gun drawn, security guards behind him. "Let my daughter go!" he shouted, his voice booming through the cold, echoing walls. Raoul's eyes went wide with fury. "You always show up to ruin my plans, don't you, William?" William stepped forward, finger steady on the trigger. "It's over, Raoul. You're not going to hurt my family again." In a desperate move, Raoul grabbed Hailey and pressed a knife to her neck. "Take one more step and I'll kill her." Hailey felt the cold blade against her skin, and the world seemed to freeze. But in a split second, William signaled to his security team to create a distraction. A blinding flash of light shattered through the warehouse, making Raoul flinch. Hailey took her chance, breaking free and running straight to her father. William didn't hesitate. He tackled Raoul to the ground, pinning him until he was cuffed. The sound of handcuffs echoed through the warehouse as police, already called in, rushed in to take Raoul away, this time for good. Hailey sobbed, shaking, wrapped in her father's arms. "I thought I was going to die," she whispered. William held her tight, tears falling down his own face. "I will never let anything hurt you again, Hailey. Never." A few weeks later, peace had finally returned. Laura, William, and Hailey sat together at a Sunday brunch table, smiling like a real family for the first time. Hailey held her father's hand and looked at her mother, eyes full of emotion. "Thank you for letting me try to believe again," she said softly. William smiled, proud. "You saved us, Hailey, more than you'll ever know." Laura took a deep breath, wiping away a tear. "At last, we can be ourselves, without fear." Hailey smiled, her heart feeling light. "I never thought I'd have a real family, but now I know it's worth fighting for." William pulled a small velvet box from his pocket and handed it to his daughter. "I want you to have this," he said, emotional. Inside was a new ring, inspired by the old one but redesigned in rose gold, a symbol of a fresh start. Hailey cried as she slid the ring onto her finger, finally feeling like she belonged somewhere. Hailey had discovered that love, even when wounded, can be rebuilt, that family doesn't have to be perfect, just honest, and that sometimes fate can put the pieces back together in the most unexpected ways. If you believe family love can rise from the ashes, like this video, drop a comment below and share this story with someone who deserves a second chance.